पदाधिकम् हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कांता राधा कांत नमस्तुते सप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः नमः ओम विष्णुपदाय कृष्णप्रस्थाय भूतले श्रीमति भक्ति वेदांत स्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य सिद्धारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंदा हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण
Krishna
कृष्ण
Krishna
हरे
Hare
हरे
Hare
हरे राम
Hare
हरे
Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare
राम
Hare
हरे हरे
Hare
हरे
Krishna
कृष्ण
Hare Krishna Krishna
हरे
Krishna
हरे
Hare Hare
हरे राम
Hare
हरे राम
Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Hare
हरे
Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna, everybody. What is the heading of this chapter? Can you quickly scroll up if that's okay with you?
Yeah, Mataji. Sri Balram ji visits Vrindavana Mataji. 65th chapter.
It's a very, very beautiful chapter. Is it okay because it's a very important chapter? Is it okay if we read it from the beginning? If that's okay with you all?
Okay, Mataji, it's okay.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you so much. I'm really sorry.
It's okay, Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Yeah.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Hare Krishna, everyone. Chapter 65. Lord Balrama visits Vrindavana. Lord Balrama became very anxious to see his father and mother in Vrindavan. Therefore, with great enthusiasm, he started on a chariot for Vrindavan. The inhabitants of Vrindavana had been anxious to see Krishna and Balrama for a very long time. When Lord Balrama returned to Vrindavana, all the cowherd boys and the gopis had grown up, but still on his arrival they all embraced him, and Balrama embraced them in reciprocation. After this, he came before Maharaj Nanda and Yashoda and offered his respectful obeisances. In response, Mother Yashoda and Nand Maharaja offered their blessings unto him. They addressed him as Jagdishvara, or the Lord of the universe who maintains everyone. The reason for this was that Krishna and Balrama maintain all living entities, and yet Nanda and Yashoda were put into such difficulties on account of their absence. Feeling like this, they embraced Balrama and sitting him on their laps, began their perpetual crying, wetting Balrama with their tears. Lord Balrama then offered his respectful obeisances to the elderly cowherdman and accepted the obeisances of the younger cowherdman. Thus, according to their different ages and relationships, Lord Balrama exchanged feelings of friendship with them. He shook hands with those who were his equal in age and friendship, and with loud laughing embraced each of them. After being received by the cowherd men and boys, the gopis and King Nanda and Yashoda, Lord Balrama sat down, feeling satisfied, and they all surrounded him. First, Lord Balrama inquired from them about their welfare, and then, since they had not seen him for such a long time, they began to ask him different questions. The inhabitants of Vrindavana had sacrificed everything for Krishna, simply being captivated by the lotus eyes of the Lord because of their great desire to love Krishna. They never desired anything like elevation to the heavenly planets or merging into the effulgence of Brahman to become one with the absolute truth. They were not even interested in enjoying a life of opulence, but were satisfied in living a simple life in the village as cowherds. They were always absorbed in thoughts of Krishna and did not desire any personal benefits. And they were all so much in love with him that in his absence there was flattered when they began to inquire from Balramji. Hare Krishna Mataji, thank you.
Thank you so much, dear. Hare Krishna. So, what are they talking about is Balram visits Vrindavan after many years. Just like Krishna's case, Balram also does that. Now, Balram, obviously, Nand Maharaj is the mother and, sorry, father, and Yashodama is not his biological mother, but Yashodama actually loved Balram more than Rohini. So the Shastra says that Yashodama did not actually see a difference between Krishna and Balram. So whether it is scolding or love, she gave multiple times. So literally he went and sat on her lap and he was pampered. They were like crying and sobbing because they could not experience even the tinge of the pain which they felt there. Now Balram was also feeling a little uncomfortable and guilty from the point that he and Krishna are maintaining everybody in the world. So when he is maintaining everybody in the world, just imagine the parents whom he's supposed to take care, he was not able to. But all of these are pastimes. But I'm just saying it's just that they never left Vrindavan. But for the pastime's sake, though it appears that they leave. This is called the Vipralam Bhav, wherein the love increases when the person is separated. So this is something which is very advanced. Unfortunately, since we are not advanced, it is going to take us a long time, at least for me to understand. Yeah. So you did 2 paras, dear?
Yes, Mataji.
Yeah, Hare Krishna.
Devati Mataji can start it.
Yeah.
Hare Krishna Mataji. First, Nanda Maharaj and Yashoda Maya inquired, my dear Balrama, are our friends like Vasudeva and others in the family doing well? Now, you and Krishna are a grown-up married man and with children. In the happiness of family life, do you sometimes remember your poor father and mother, Nanda Maharaj and Yashoda Devi? It is very good news that the most sinful king, Kamsa, had been killed by you, and that our friends like Vasudeva and others who had been harassed have now been relieved. It's also very good news that you and Krishna defeated Jarasandha and Kalayavana, who is now dead, and that you are now living in the fortified residence in Dwaraka. When the gopis arrived, Lord Balarama glanced over them with loving eyes, being overjoyed. The gopis who had so long been mortified on account of Krishna's and Balarama's absence began to ask about the welfare of the two brothers. They specifically asked Balarama whether Krishna was enjoying his life surrounded by the enlightened women of Dwarakapuri. Does he sometimes remember his father Nanda and his mother Yashoda and other friends with whom he so intimately behaved while in Vrindavana? Does Krishna have any plans to come here to see his mother Yashoda? And does he remember as gopis who are now pitiably benefit of his company? Krishna may have forgotten us in the midst of the cultured women of Dwaraka, but as far as we are concerned, we still remember him by collecting garlands we have made. Dear Lord Balrama, descendant of the Dasaraha, you know that we would be give up everything for Krishna's friendship, even in great distress, and one cannot give up the connection of family members. But although it might be impossible for others, we gave up our fathers, mothers, sisters, and relatives. But then Krishna, without carrying a pinch of our renunciation, all of a sudden renounced us and went away. He broke off our intimate relationship without serious consideration and left for a foreign country. But he was so clever and cunning that he manufactured very nice words. He said, my dear gopis, please do not worry. The service you have rendered me. It is impossible for me to repay. After all, we are women. So how could we disbelieve him? Now we can understand that his sweet words were simply for cheating us. Hare Krishna Mataji.
Very beautiful experience Krishna is actually talking in the form of Balram. So what is it coming? Because Balram and Krishna are not different, right? So what does Balram experience? Whatever hit which Krishna should have got, Balram is taking it. Because if you see the coward girls, they're not angry, but they are, when you actually get angry when your expectations are high. But this is in the material world. In the spiritual world, what happens is when their love is so high, anger comes out. Which is what in the material world also they misuse. If you quite notice, they will tell anger comes because we are upset, we are in love. But the fact is, in the material world, there is no concept of love anger. It is only anger, right? And as you become more angry, your blood cells increase, even psychologically, and it is proved it is wrong, right? It does more harm to you than it can do good. Now back to it, all the gopis are wondering, hey Balram, is it because girls are so beautiful that Krishna has gone? So all their anger which they have accumulated, they are just showing it on Balram. But this is in the form of love. Yeah, go ahead.
Then another gopi began to speak.
Hare Krishna Mataji, have to start from protesting Krishna's absence.
Krishna's absence from Vrindavana. Another gopi said, "My dear Balramji, we are of course village girls, so Krishna could cheat us in that way. But what about the women of Dwaraka? Don't think they are as foolish as we are. We village women might be misled by Krishna, but the women in the city of Dwaraka are very clever and intelligent. Therefore, I would be surprised if such city woman could be misled by Krishna and could believe his words." Then another gopi began to speak. "My dear friend," she said, "Krishna is very clever in using words. No one can compete with him in that art. He can manufacture such colorful words and talk so sweetly that the heart of any woman would be misled. Besides that, he had perfected the art of smiling very attractively by seeing his smile, women become mad after him and give themselves to him without hesitation." Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Very beautifully said, which is very true, right? Most of the time when I go ISKCON, I'll see Padam, I see face in general. Yesterday, after reading all this, right, I thought, okay, let me have a look at Krishna's lip. It really drove me mad that almost after 1 year, because I had an accident, it's about 10 months. First time I started really dancing in the temple hall, like really mad person. So, Krishna can drive somebody like me who have no bhakti mad, then we can imagine how gopis will react. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Hare Krishna everyone. Another gopi, after hearing this, said, "My dear friends, what is the use of talking about Krishna? If you are at all interested in passing time by talking, let us talk on some subject other than him. If real Krishna can pass his time without us, why can't we pass our time without Krishna? Of course, Krishna is passing his days without us very happily, but we can't pass our days happily without him." When the gopis were talking in this way, their feelings for Krishna became more and more intense, and they were expressing Krishna's smiling, Krishna's words of love, Krishna's attractive features, Krishna's characteristics, and Krishna's embraces by the force of their sorry ecstatic feelings. It appeared to them that Krishna was personally present and dancing before them because of their sweet remembrance of Krishna. They could not check their tears and they began to cry without consideration. Lord Balrama, of course, could understand the ecstatic feelings of the gopis and therefore he wanted to pacify them. He was expert in presenting an appeal and thus treating the gopis very respectfully. He began to narrate the stories of Krishna so tactfully that the gopis became satisfied. To keep the gopis in Vrindavana satisfied, Lord Balrama stayed there continuously for 2 months, namely the months of Chaitra, that is March, April, and Vaishika, April and May. For those 2 months, he kept himself among the gopis and he passed every night with them in the forest of Vrindavana to satisfy their desire for conjugal love. Thus, Balrama also enjoys the rasa dance with the gopis during those 2 months. Since the season was springtime, the breeze on the bank of Yamuna was blowing very mildly. carrying the aroma of different flowers, especially the flower known as Komudi. Moonlight filled the sky and spread everywhere. The flower, everywhere, and the banks of the Yamuna appeared very bright and pleasing. And Lord Balrama enjoyed the company of the gopis there. Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna, very, very beautiful statement. So Balram is very sweet that he knows, because he's Adi Guru, he knows exactly what and whom to be managed how. So what does he do? He very beautifully actually answers, and he does not show anger or power to any of the gopis, because he has the Vatsalya kind of power when it comes to gopis. So we've seen this in Kalya Natanam also, that in Kalya Natanam, imagine two people we cannot manage, even if two are children, right? But Balram manages all, not just that village, but multiple villages who have come. Some of them are angry and scared. Some want to jump into the water. He uses Bala. Some girls are crying. He wipes the tears. One time he does all that. So we can see the power of Balram is very high, and exactly in the same way he displays the power for the gopis. There was also a very sweet pastime that he is in love with all the, he's back because he wants to satisfy the gopis who are in love with Balram. Now you may think that, oh my God, how can Krishna's gopis, these are two different gopis. These were very small gopis when Krishna left, right? And they never had the love feeling with Krishna. So there are exclusively gopis for Balram where this is highlighted. So he did have rasa dance with the gopis as well, but these are different gopis. Hare Krishna.
The
The
demigod,
demigod known as Varuna sent his daughter Varuni in the form of liquid honey oozing from the hollows of the trees.
Hare
Because
Krishna, I
of
think
this,
it's a new chapter, no? I mean, it's a new Varuni chapter is coming up. So we will start this tomorrow. So we'll have continuity. Is that okay with
okay,
you?
Mataji. Yes, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Paddarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya eva cha patitanan pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Ananta Koti Vaishnav Vijay Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Namacharya Haridas Thakur ki jai. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna,
Hare
Krishna Krishna, Hare
Krishna,
Hare.
Hare
Hare
Rama, Hare
Krishna.
Rama.
Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Hare.
Mataji. Thank you so
Hare
much.
Krishna Mataji, thank you
Mataji,
very much.
Thank you so much.
Pranam,
Thank you so much.
Mataji.
And thank you so much for everything. And thanks for the patient listening. Yeah. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.